a bloody Sunday on two continents.
This is the fifth major bombing in Turkey in the past 8 months. Before then, there had been no major attack for 2 years.
The frequency of these global terror attacks is growing. Whether it's Turkey, West Africa, or here in Europe, intelligence officials say the question about the next attack is not if.
A branch of Al-Qaeda has claimed responsibility for a deadly attack on a beach resort in the Ivory Coast.
I heard shots coming from over there, said one witness. That's when I saw the criminals. We found this guy here. They had killed him. Another witness described how one of the gunmen approached two children while the one child knelt and prayed. The other was shot dead.
Overseas, two separate terror attacks making headlines. In Turkey, dozens killed in a huge explosion. The blast reportedly from a car bomb near a bus stop in the capital. Several government agencies nearby. In West Africa, Al-Qaeda claiming responsibility for a deadly assault, gunmen targeting 3 hotels, storming an Ivory Coast beach resort.
Security video captured the very moment a car packed with explosives detonated near a busy bus stop in Turkey's capital. Embers and debris rained down on the street as survivors ran for cover.
These are two unrelated events, right?
They're unrelated in the tactical sense, but they're related in the sense that this is part and parcel of the world we live in.
It's the world we live in, and we'll get to the politics later with you. What is the new world order that your experts see at the Council on Foreign Relations? I can read Kissinger's book, I can read your book, I can read 8 other people's book. All I know is there's bombings everywhere, and not pretty.
Well, the New World Order, to some extent, is a New World disorder, or is much challenged by weak states who can't control what goes in there, inside their countries or across the borders, as we are by strong states. We're really seeing the erosion of all sorts of security and stability arrangements, clearly in Europe, obviously in the Middle East, which is the most unraveled. We haven't seen it for the most part in Asia, but there are pressures under the surface there that worry everybody.
I saw the news. It was striking, Ambassador Haas, how it came out on my Twitter feed, one crisis, then the other crisis. And all I could think of was a Paula Cole song from years ago, Where Have All the Cowboys Gone? Where have all the John Waynes gone? I mean, there's a massive desire for U.S. order like we had in an American myth from decades ago. It's essentially gone, isn't it?
The short answer is yes. Years ago, I wrote a book about a different American president called The Reluctant Sheriff.
Yeah.
And when you read Jeffrey Goldberg's long, important piece in Atlantic Magazine about Barack Obama, he is very much a reluctant sheriff, very concerned about the consequences and costs of the United States playing a leading role in the world. But what we're seeing is if the United States doesn't do it, the world is not on autopilot, and there's no one else with the capacity and willingness to step up. Essentially, order declines.
So to move forward,
what is there about a new world order that unifies the minds of thinkers and scientists and presidents and politicians and religious leaders? Economist and best-selling author Larry Bates writes, I have said for many years that the term New World Order is merely a code word for one world socialism. As many have observed, the New World Order is not new, nor is it orderly. If you were to search the content of all the major media streams over the last 2 decades for phrases like New World Order, global government, or one world system, you would be shocked. Many of the politicians and leaders of developed nations have used these or similar phrases in their responses to recent global problems and catastrophes. The world is crying out for a unified government to solve problems at the global level.
The new global agenda in many ways is not new. It is we had 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago, in 1992, when we had the big Rio summit in Brazil, we had an agenda for the 21st century. but it is about sustainable development, and there was not enough implementation. So today, this 2030 agenda for sustainable development, in many ways, is unfinished business, but it also introduces many new things, like the human rights issues are more strong. So we think that there is a lot of opportunity for this new global agenda to really get us moving to implement sustainable development.
This summit in Dubai on shaping future governments can serve as a catalyst and a driver to concretely and together chart the road ahead. This agenda 2030 is, in my view, the most transformative development agenda ever adopted by member states of the United Nations. The member state didn't go the road that I've often seen in negotiations of the lowest common denominator. No, they kept the ambitious levels, they kept the ambitions high, which of course also means that the people of the world have high expectations and we have to face up to that. This agenda commits us to leave no one behind. We are guided by 17 interrelated Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, which aim to free all human beings from the tyranny of poverty, the tyranny of want, and to heal and secure our planet. The SDGs reflect the obligations of all governments around the world to shape a better future. The agenda is to be implemented in all countries, rich and poor, large and small. Agenda 2030 offers a unique opportunity to rally all countries, civil society, the business community, and the academic world around the quest for a more fair and equitable world. We must not miss this historic Agenda 2030 opportunity.
Thanks for watching tonight. I'm Bill Ritter.
And I'm Liz Cho. World News Tonight with David Muir is coming up next. For all of us here, have a great night.
Bye-bye.
Breaking news. Recruiting ISIS on Tennessee college campuses should be okay?
Tonight, one state lawmaker's exchange with a Memphis colleague is getting a lot of attention.
Republican Representative John Daniel of Knoxville, seen there, was talking about a bill that would ease free speech rules on college campuses throughout the state, even if it means allowing ISIS, the terrorist organization, to recruit. Listen to this exchange with Representative John DeBerry of Memphis.
Should someone be able to stand in the marketplace or in the town square at the University of Tennessee, University of Memphis, Murfreesboro, Cookeville, Austin Peay, and recruit for ISIS?
Yes. So long as it doesn't disrupt the proceedings on that campus. Yes, sir.
Get them out of here. Get them out. Get them out.
Protests in Midtown, both inside and outside the Midland, as presidential candidate Donald Trump comes to town. Now take a look at this video. Police use pepper spray on the crowds this evening as they try to get control of this situation. We saw multiple scuffles, and police say
the stress from the outside crowd coming to a head when police unleashed pepper spray to disperse the crowd.
It was the best of 5 games, but in the end, a computer program beat a human brain at the ancient Chinese board game of Go. The final score, 4-1, a triumph for artificial intelligence equipped with human intuition.
The victory of a program over a human in the ancient board game Go has sparked intrigue and, in some cases, concern. It shows that a machine has approximated human intuition and outsmarted the best human brain in the game. It's something that scientists hadn't expected to happen for at least another decade. And it's a giant leap for artificial intelligence, showing that machines can learn on their own.
I think maybe the game ended.
No, I don't think so, because it looks like E is still counting.
No, I think he resigned.
Wow, I think you're right. Wow. Wow.
This was the moment a computer called AlphaGo beat a master of the ancient Chinese game Go. It's not the first time a grandmaster's been humbled by a machine. But what makes AlphaGo different is that it's the first demonstration that machines can truly learn and think in a human way.
I was defeated entirely. I had barely taken the lead from the very beginning, and I saw no mistakes made by the computer. Yesterday I could still say that the computer played Go in a strange manner, but the computer defeated me perfectly today.
AlphaGo's victory shocked experts in the artificial intelligence community. Many thought such an event was at least a decade away. With computing power growing exponentially, a future of artificially intelligent machines that learn from their mistakes now looks closer than ever. This poses fundamental questions about the nature of intelligence and even what it means.
While EU countries are buckling under the continuing pressure of hundreds of thousands of refugee arrivals, leaders are scrambling to find ways to manage the crisis. Last year, the European Commission ordered Italy to use force if necessary to make refugees and migrants have their fingerprints taken.
One thing the EU is following through on, ensuring that migrants are fingerprinted and registered at the hotspots. These young men from Darfur and Sudan have asked not to be identified. They've been in Lampedusa for 3 months. They're among the few who protested who haven't yet been taken to mainland Sicily and fingerprinted. They say police are using force to get fingerprints and that a few of them are being denied medical treatment.
A 4-month manhunt ended today in a hail of gunfire.
By late afternoon, heavily armed police moved in on the apartment in Molenbeek, not sure who was there. Only to find they'd captured Salah Abdeslam, one of the 10 Paris attackers and the only one to have escaped alive. This is believed to be Abdeslam the moment he was caught, his leg injured in the raid. Despite an international manhunt, Abdeslam evaded authorities until today.
Russian forces have started to withdraw from Syria. Military jets took off this morning from their base in Syria.
And breaking overnight, another provocation by North Korea. It's launched a medium-range missile into the sea. The test firing violates multiple United Nations resolutions.
U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry has officially declared that the Islamic State militant group is committing genocide against Christians and other religious minorities across the Middle East.
Facing persecution, murder, and torture each day, Christians overseas are persecuted for their religious beliefs. These individuals are being slaughtered, raped, and sold into slavery and forced to watch as their churches are burned down. This morning, the State Department labeled these atrocities as genocide. This is mass genocide by ISIS and other radical jihadist groups that is taking place throughout the world.
As the world conditions continue to worsen, we are heading toward the promise of a peace by a world dictator who will come and say, I will provide peace for you. We know him as the Antichrist. And the Bible says he will use peace to manipulate the world. Today, men and women in this world are looking for a leader. They're looking for someone who can make the pain go away, who can put the money back in their portfolios, who can give them a sense that maybe their children will be all right in the next generation. And as many of you know, they care not about the nature or the heart of the leader as long as he can deliver on his promise. And the Bible tells us in Daniel 7 and Revelation 13 that such a leader is coming. He will come upon this world with great charisma. He will be physically attractive, an outstanding orator, a man of great cruelty, and a spiritual bent as a cultic leader, and he will take control of the world, and they will be eating out of his hands. And we know this world leader as the Antichrist. The New World Order is all about the consolidation of power. That's what it's all about. It's about bringing everybody together so that one person can control everything. That only works if the one person is Jesus Christ. You can trust him. He never fails. He never outpromises. He never does not do what he says he will do. He has never before in history sinned. He is the perfect ruler for a new world order. And while we are watching what happens in our culture today, we need to be very vigilant as the people of God. The people of this nation have taken seriously the importance of building a strong nation with integrity,